Welcome, Superboy fans, to the second commentary track that we are doing for the Superboy television series here at Superboy Legacy. I'm Sam Rizzo, and with me is Tom Gallagher. How's it going, Tom?
Hello.
Hey.
I'm good.
Well,
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, we had great responses to the two-parter that we did, The Road's Not Taken. So today, with our second track, commentary track, we're going to look at possibly my favorites, my two favorite episodes from Season 2, Bizarro, The Thing of Steel, and Battle of Bizarro. So, and this was my, Bizarro, The Thing of Steel, this was my first episode into the series. So, in the summer...
I think mine was a Bizarro, but it wasn't this one.
It wasn't what was it, Bride of Bizarro in the third season?
I think annoyingly it was Bride of Bizarro Part 2. I didn't see Part 1 for years and years afterwards.
Wow.
They aired at some really random times in the UK. I was quite lucky that I had two episodes on VHS that I recorded off the telly, and it was Bride of Bizarro Part 2 and I think it was Mindscape.
Yeah, we talked about that in the episode 1 of the podcast, how towards the end here in the States, they would just move the series all over the place. So it was just by happenstance, you'd come across it. If you didn't know what the series was, or just discovering the series, and you just turned on the television, it was on all over the place. So
yeah, it's really weird. I actually saw Mindscape twice on television at different times.
Wow.
But I didn't see hardly any other episodes. It was just really odd that two times I saw, Superboy's on, and I put it on. It's like, wait, this is the same episode I watched 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's
funny.
It was odd.
Yeah, it was all over the place. But let's get into the episode. So if you're watching it digitally, if you're watching it on DVD, we're going to count down from 1 to 3, and on number 4, we're just going to hit play. So here we go. I'm watching it on iTunes. That is the best way to watch the show, because
agreed,
the episodes on iTunes are uncompressed, and the image looks great. On the DVDs, there's a little bit of compression, and there's a little bit of artifact all over on some of the images, on some of the clips. So in my opinion, the two best ways is iTunes and DC Universe to watch it if you're in the States. Tom, you're not in the States, so...
No, it is available in the UK on iTunes, I believe.
iTunes. Okay.
That's not... Yeah, I think it's also, you can watch it on YouTube now if you buy the episodes individually.
You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. I know it's available on Amazon.com, or just buy the DVDs. But in my opinion, the two best ways, DC Universe and Amazon Prime. So here we go. We're going to count down. 1, 2, 3, start. Here we go. Alexander Solkheim presents Superboy. Gotta love the flying with Bob Harmon. That Superman the movie connection.
Yeah. Now, the flying in this series, it's never been better, even to this day.
Yeah. Gotta love the cape. I love the Season 2 cape. I know I'm gonna get flack for that from people, but just the way, it reminds you of the John Byrne from the 80s, the Man of Steel series, when they rebooted Superman for the comics in the 80s.
Yeah, I like how much bigger it is on the shoulders.
Now, this is my favorite scene, literally, from the show. One of the favorite scenes.
Well, it's almost literally, well, it is straight from the comics, pretty much,
from Superboy 68, November 1958 was the comic. The classic Silver Age. But it's funny, Professor Peterson in the comic was called Professor Dalton. So, Carrie Bates.
I wonder why they changed that.
I don't know. I love that shot of Superboy standing in the doorway with his hands on his hips, and you see the lightning behind him. Just so cool.
It's funny because this opening scene, there's a lot of atmosphere with the lighting, which is
Yes.
not really something that you see a lot in season 1 and 2.
No.
Like that's mostly season 3 is when they start putting more effort into the lighting. But this scene is really well done. It's got a lot of atmosphere to it. And I suppose you need to, considering like the lightning storm is kind of a plot point, but
God, those 80s cheesy effects. God.
yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder what what the series would look like now. Like, how Supergirl's filmed and everything. I mean, it just the duplication, Ray.
Yeah. I wish we could get hold of the original like 35mm stuff and get Aaron, our mutual friend Aaron, to
Yeah,
do
Aaron,
just do new special effects for it. Like
right.
imitate them a little bit, but update them.
Yeah.
Like he would kill it. He would just do an amazing job.
Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Professor Peterson is played by the talented George Secures from West Side Story fame. That was the great thing.
I've never seen West Side Story.
That was it was a great musical back in the 60s, 50s? No, 60s, yeah.
I think the reason I never watched it is because I was forced to read Romeo and Juliet in high school, and I didn't enjoy it particularly. So I just was like, "Wait, West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet the musical? I'm never watching that."
Yeah, pretty much. I love this shot.
I like some Shakespeare, but I did not particularly enjoy that one.
Great shot of the intro to Bizarro in the duplication chamber. Just so cool.
Man, the Bizarro mask is just so well done.
Rob Berman and his team developed the makeup. I think from what he told me, it was 6 or 7 interlocking pieces that they glued to Barry Myers. Well, now he goes by Douglas Myers. His face, and it just looks so great. And the wig that they used is a Beatles wig that they cut up. They gave him it's the bowl cut basically, but they just kind of just moved they just moved it all around. It's just so funny when Rob
roughed
said
it up a bit.
yeah, they roughed it up basically. Yeah. Who am I? Just the way he delivered his lines was great. Barry Myers.
Oh, just
me and
there's
Bizarro.
never been a better Bizarro.
No, it's just weird. Like, in how many different series we have not got a truly definitive Bizarro other than this. This is the closest.
Yeah.
Other than his S not being backwards, like this is the closest to the Silver Age comics.
But the S wasn't always backwards in the comics as well, so you can get away with it.
Right. I love it when he grabs Superboy and throws him into the duplication machine. And then he just it's so cool that he's just, to get out of the lab, he just punches his way out into the rain and flies out. That's just great.
Well, there is a rich history of Superman and just like breaking through walls and stuff to get into places. Like Bizarro is the first one, I think, to do it, to exit a place.
You break in, but then you exit.
Yeah.
He exited stage left. There you go. But yeah, that's great that you mentioned that. Just the lighting in this first scene is so foreshadowing what's to come in seasons 3 and 4. Just the way they use lighting.
Yeah. I think it is the only time they did it in season 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I mean, I could be wrong, but just off the top of my head, I can't think of another instance where the lighting was so specific for an atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, there goes Bizarro. He's gonna mingle with the locals. Here we go. He's at the mini mall. But it's so funny because the scene before that in the lab was right out of the comics, right out of that 1958 comic, like scene for scene. Or sequence for sequence in that lab. The little boy. Hello, little boy. Look at the hair on the mom. It's so 80s. So 80s hair.
That's my favorite thing about watching this show. Sometimes is just the hairstyles.
It's like, oh my god. But I
Like
think yeah,
Stacy has some amazing hairstyles in this show as well.
and a couple of her like her her wardrobe with the big shoulder pads and stuff. Oh my god, so 80s. Oh, here's the punks.
You can't get much more 80s than them,
You
can you?
can't. Oh my god.
Like that guy's hair, it literally looks like he's got some sort of bizarre hat, but then you realize actually no, it is just his hairstyle to look like that.
I guess he was a member of Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, it must be.
God.
Or a big fan of Wolverine or something.
Yeah. But I love this him looking into the mirror or the glass of the store and seeing his reflection and going,
It's been so long since I've read the comic that this is actually based on. I can't remember if this scene is actually in there, but I know a lot of the scenes are.
This scene is in the second part of that 1958 comic. And Superboy's there's a full panel, like half the page is Superboy flying down, and you see the car in the background. The difference is instead of Bizarro kicking the car, he flings the car into the store window. So
you can sort of guess why they.
Yeah, well, I mean the budget. I love how he bites the gun. That's so cool.
I just love though that back then, like the two cops came out of.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know now with
just go buy some new shirts.
Mm-hmm. All the people running out of the store. Bizarro's taste in clothes is not that bad. Very similar to Clark. I wonder why.
It's funny though because you could actually, it's one of the few fashion choices that you could get away with today. Like if you wore that down the street now, I don't think anyone would give you a second look.
Well, there's
some of the clothes in this show you definitely would.
There's Clark's glasses. That's really cool.
Mm.
There's the classic Christopher Reeve costume. That was owned by Elia. Elia Salkin owned that costume. They used it in John Hames Newton's screen test, and then they used it in this 2-part episode. And IlanMitchell-Smith from Weird Science and Andy McAllister is the last person to wear a Christopher Reeve costume on screen, either in television or film.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I bet he loves that fact as well. I would be so proud if I was here.
It was funny because I was at the Hollywood show back a couple years ago in LA, and it was him, Stacy, and Gerard there. And I tweeted that picture of him in this episode in the costume, and he liked it. And when I met him in LA, we talked about it. He's like, Sam, it was so cool to wear that costume.
Oh, I bet. It's just history in that costume.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know John Newton even said putting that costume on, like it changes you. It makes you feel like Superman.
Yeah, I think every actor that's ever worn a Superman costume has said that just putting on the suit makes you feel like the character.
Oh yeah, like I mean, you just walk differently. You know, you hold yourself differently. That's what Gerard has said that too. I guess
I know Brandon Routh said that, or Routh said that when he I think it's in the behind the scenes making of Superman Returns. Like he was just, as soon as he put that suit on, he realized he wasn't even meaning to, but he would just catch himself standing with his hands on his hips.
I love
just standing around the set posed.
I love Andy. He makes no buts about what he wants. He's so funny. I'll see you at the costume party. Okay.
I like Andy, but I have to admit I do prefer TJ.
I like how they brought Andy back. That was really cool in season 3. This was cool. His walk.
Was that the special effects episode?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was great. Bizarro walking into the dorms, spying on everybody.
This is the one. Being that there's a costume party about to happen, like it's probably the one time he can walk through the dorms and not scare the shit out of people.
Right. I always thought in that first dorm the couple making out was Clark. Like when he left the dorm, he had a side girlfriend there, that nobody knew about. The double life that Clark is leaving or living. Here we go. Andy dancing in the dorm in the Superman costume with his shades on. Me am Ken Clark. Me your good friend. And fade to black. Here we go. Fade to black. Yeah, that costume was great. It's amazing that just the cape, a Christopher Reeve cape by itself, is $200,000. It's crazy. It's amazing.
That is nuts.
Just the cape. Just imagine what that costume would go for today. Just the whole thing.
Oh God,
would be like $2 million. It's nuts.
Oh, easily.
I wonder
what would actually cost more to buy now. Would it be the Christopher Reeve suit, screen used suit, or would it actually be Action Comics #1?
That's a good question. I wonder where that poster is that's up on the wall of the dorm.
Yeah, it's a cool picture that I don't think I've ever seen.
There's a similar version of that in the epilogue from September, the epilogue magazine from September 1992. But it's not that angle.
Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. If anybody's listening who worked on the show, let us know where that is.
Yeah, I would be fascinated to know whatever happened to that. I'm surprised. Like, I mean, you've got a load of the press photos and stuff. I'm surprised it's not in amongst those.
No, I mean, there's a black and white version of that shot, but like I said, it's different. I love this scene between Professor Peterson and Superboy. It just exploded.
Yeah.
Here's some exposition.
Yeah. As much as I prefer season 3 and 4 for obvious reasons, like I do wish Gerard had kept his hair from season 2. I think he looks more like Superman.
Yeah.
With this hair.
And the curl just a little off to the side. I didn't really care for the spit curl like in the middle of his forehead. Like this version, just this version of how he looks here in season 2, mixed with the costume of season 2. I love it. Because, again, I know people are going to give me flack, but I just thought, like, just the way he looked in season 2 with that suit, like, it just looked great. It looked like
the suit is great. The only part I don't like is the buttons.
Yeah, you could see the buttons here
because I don't think it looks. Yeah, I don't think it looks quite right.
When he's talking to Professor Peterson,
else about it is perfect.
Yeah, you could see the buttons, and all the stress went to those buttons. Because on a couple of the suits that I own, you could see where the buttons, like when they removed the cape, those buttons came right off the suit.
Yeah. Well, there's some episodes where you can see that when the buttons is unpopped during the scene.
Yeah.
And obviously they were so probably pushed for time and budget, they couldn't afford to do so many takes. They just left it in the show.
What a costume. That's coming up. I love that line. That's good. Andy, why don't you fly to party? That was so, like, and it's funny because Barry would say, like, him and Rob would go over the dialogue to the Bizarro episodes, and they would rewrite some of it on the spot as they were going along. So I really love that they had input into the character, and what ended up on screen was a collaboration between Robin and Barry. Like, you could really see that. Just the way he walks, too, as Bizarro. Like, it just looks so perfect.
I mean, it looks so robotic, but didn't Barry Myers, didn't he have, a magician act or something where he played a robot?
Yeah, Mr. Silver. How he got the role? Yeah, Mr. Silver. He retired him a couple years ago. And funny enough, I was just watching Iron Man 3 last night. Barry was in that. You see him for a split second. In the Chinese theater explosion. He's right out in front. I think he has Mr. Silver or as another character, but he's dressed up like Mr. Silver, and you see him for a second. So go back and watch Iron Man 3. You'll see him for 2 seconds, 2 frames. He's in it.
I'll have to. I had no idea he was there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Bizarro, not sorry. Would you please stop talking in this stupid voice? You leave now. Like, Andy rooting him on. Schuster costume party. I couldn't tell you how many, like, signs that just look so like from the dollar store with the Schuster University on there. I have a pennant that one of the props people worked on, or when they worked on the show, gave me one of the pennants that says Schuster U, and it just looks like they just cut like words out and just put it on a pennant, and they stamped the pennant with like a. It was just like the budget on this thing was just so minuscule compared to what it is now on shows.
Yeah. Let's face it, like the CW shows don't have a great budget.
No,
Like, it's
but they look fantastic.
superhero shows in general have never had a great.
How did
like,
that not break?
There's a few shows obviously that have had fantastic budgets, but
Yeah. When Lana slaps Bizarro, how does her hand not break? That's really, come on. Bizarro.
I mean, there's so many questions you can ask about this episode, though. Like, after Bizarro decides to dress as Kent Clark, how does no one put together that Clark Kent is Superboy?
Right.
Like, really?
Lana slapped me. That must be love. No.
Also, at this point, they do still think that he's Clark in the mask. Like, how did Clark just throw a guy through the air into a grill?
Me go to her. I can't fly as Kent Clark. It's just so great. I love the music. Kevin Kiner's Bizarro music and the build up to Bizarro changing in this makeshift telephone booth. It was just so funny.
I wonder if that is a reference to Superman the movie, because he has that bit where he looks at the booth.
Yeah, for a split second, and it's like,
and it's
he walks.
One of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he goes to the revolving door, doesn't he?
Right. Did she really hit the brakes? Or did he stop it? That's a good question. You think here she would figure it out?
I mean, you can hear the squeaking of the brake.
Right.
Yeah, at this point,
This is a great scene right here.
You should be like, wait, it's like Clark Kent. Like, how does it get out at this point?
Again,
it's a good thing Lex Luthor wasn't around to see this episode, because he would have worked it out.
And I think this was one of the first episodes where they did a callback to an earlier episode. One of the few times that they did that, because the lead.
That's from the Metallo episode.
From the first Metallo episode, when Superboy's fighting Metallo in the junkyard and makes that makeshift lead armor, and there's the kryptonite in the hand, the piece of the armor, the hand piece of the armor that he's gonna use on Bizarro. Well, it doesn't work. I wonder why. Again, the effects of making Superboy turn green from the effect of kryptonite, like right out of the comics, just so good. And the way they did it was really good.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
I mean, Smallville did it for a hot second, and I want to say like the second episode the second episode of Smallville, where he's holding the kryptonite and it's going through his veins. The green is going through his veins. That was really cool. I like that effect. But then they never used it again. Yeah.
I think they brought it back a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Or just the veins, at least. But his skin didn't turn green.
Right.
So I think they were still working it out. So.
Well, that's it for part 1. Will Superboy survive?
Well, if he doesn't, then the show's about to get cancelled out of the blue halfway through.
So much for the other
season.
2.5 seasons worth of episodes we still have. So that's part 1 of Bizarro: The Thing of Steel.
I love it.
It's
just so much. Bizarro It's just so much
It's just such a
fun in
silver
this.
it's such a silver age story right out of the comics, and they adapted it really well for 22 minutes, the first part of it. So we're gonna start with the second part of this two-parter with the Battle of Bizarro. So are you queued up, Tom?
I am.
Okay, let me queue up. Hold on, because you're watching it. How are you watching it? You're watching it on DVD, right?
Yes, I've ripped all my DVDs to my computer, so I don't have to hunt through the discs all the time.
Yeah, and I'm watching it on
Which is
iTunes.
annoying because it is compressed, and I'm trying to remove artifacts from it now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, let's start the second part, the Battle of Bizarro, and we're gonna count down on four. You're gonna start it, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and start.
Is that music again?
Kevin Kiner. It's weird that they have not released the score to the show.
Yeah. I wonder if he still has like tapes of his music somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere. Just like
I
this.
wonder if it'd be worth contacting him and just saying like, please, can you just like release the
Well,
music on like online for free or something? Because clearly
yeah,
Warner Brothers have no interest in doing it. So
I would love to for them to release it through like Lala Records, like the Superman the movie. How many times Superman the movie's been released? You
yeah.
know, they've done different
It,
versions. They just did a 40th anniversary version of the score, and I think they just sold out the first run, and now they have a second print of that score on CD.
yeah. Doesn't matter how many times they release that, people would still buy it because the
Yeah.
music is just so good.
In the previous Superboy episode, that's what we're going through right now. So we haven't really
Yeah.
started the episode yet. We have like the 2 minute in the previous Superboy episode, so here we go. That's an alternate cut right there. Bizarro saying his lines in the duplication chamber. Just for
Oh,
like a
was it? I
split.
didn't even notice.
Yeah, for a split second in the previous scene.
Huh.
Look, Mom, Superboy. Yeah, run. It's not Superboy. I wonder who this. I hope this guy was a stunt guy that they threw into the the grill. That was so funny.
I imagine he is because he doesn't look like a college student.
Yeah, no.
He looks about 30.
It's funny because I own one of the Bizarro masks, and I won it 11 years ago from Profiles in History, and they had it.
Wow.
They had it marked as from Lois and Clark. They didn't even know about this show. I actually called them and talked to one of the people there at Profiles, and when they sent me the mask, um, I have the tag still that says from 1993, Lois and Clark. Just so funny.
It's so stupid that. I mean, how do they still make those mistakes?
Yeah, especially a very well-known auction house in Los Angeles, in Calabasas. I mean, you know, I was just there in December, and yeah, they had a ton of stuff.
It is funny how often things like this are
Look at
mislabeled.
look at the boots on IlanMitchell-Smith. He's like, the boots are swimming, like they are so big compared to him. Like I wonder
The
how
whole suit is.
yeah,
It's so
he's
baggy
like
on him.
yeah. Look at the cape compared to Gerard's cape, how it's tucked in. The Christopher, yeah.
I do prefer the tucked in look.
Yeah, it just looks cleaner. But I mean, I love the season 2 cape.
I like how big it is around the shoulders, but if it was still that big around the shoulders,
Yeah.
but tucked in at the same time, it'd be perfect.
He looks like a football player with that big cape, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool to see the Chris costume next to Gerard's costume and just see the improvements that they've made. You
Yeah.
know, in the S,
I do
look,
prefer the S on Gerard's
yeah, the S
over
is
Christopher
more.
Reeve's.
It's more trademark S
Yeah.
on Gerard's costume, and even on Bizarro's costume.
Mm. But not so much to the extent that the like John Newton's one
Right.
was. Like John Newton's one just literally looks like they took the trademark symbol
Hmm.
and did it exactly, whereas Gerard's it's like they sort of done halfway between the trademark symbol and what John Byrne did for his.
Right. Kind of wonder if this Larry Mart store is still there. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, what is Lana wearing? It's a costume party. What's she dressed as?
Like a princess or something? Like a Disney princess? Well, now it would be a Disney princess, you know?
Yeah.
Or Harley Quinn. Like, I don't know. Something. Yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers and DC they would do a product placement thing. I think they would have Lana dressed up as Harley Quinn or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Cross
Or
promotion.
Wonder Woman.
Or Wonder Woman. That'd be hilarious. See, even the way like the power usage, like with Bizarro, how he uses his heat vision to lock the door, well, to melt the door so that they're sealed in. Like just those little things were great.
Oh yeah.
What's that? That's a radio. And good character moments. This was a great character moment between Lana and Bizarro. With the whole tear sequence. What do you call this? A tear.
Mm.
Again, great character stuff here between Lana and Bizarro. Building up Bizarro's character and him trying to understand, like, this guy, he just came into existence, even though he has Superboy's memories. You know, it's all jumbled up in him. And him trying to discover who he is. You know, he's not Superboy. He's somebody else. He's
Bizarro.
He's something else. Yeah. And I like that
I mean, that's one thing I do love though about Bizarro in this show. Like, he's not a villain in any way. He misunderstands
he's
a lot of different situations.
Well,
but...
he's kind of childlike. Whoever could manipulate him, or like Luther did at the start of season 3. I'll make you somebody to love, so you're not alone, but you got to do something for me. You know, he didn't know any better. That was great.
When we eventually get to Be Human, we've got to try and get Barry Myers to join us for these, because he's so damn good in those episodes.
Yeah.
When he becomes human.
I think from talking to him, the most popular episodes were the Bizarro episodes. They just, you know, kept bringing them back because, I mean, people got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
And you could see why.
I mean, I wish other Superman like media would actually embrace the character like Superboy did.
Yeah. Well, Superboy they did a lot of first. Like Mixus Pitalik, Bizarro, Metallo, and then other series, like other incarnations after Superboy, they followed suit. They plundered a lot from Superboy. Like, I think Superboy, like, it deserves a bigger legacy than what it's remembered for right now.
Yeah.
I mean, all these other series owe a lot to Superboy because they were the first to do a lot of things. The multiverse, you said it the other day. Superboy was one of the first series to do the multiverse idea.
It was the first live-action DC show to do a multiverse.
Right.
I did since find out, to make a correction on my last comment on the commentary, somebody in the comments on YouTube corrected me. Super Friends apparently did do an episode with the multiverse in the 70s, but Superboy is officially the first live-action show to introduce it.
Thank you, Christian, for that.
Yeah. No, I loved when I read that because I was like, oh wow, okay, brilliant.
And this was a great moment of Bizarro and Lana dancing in the store.
Yeah.
Again, another great character moments in a 22-minute episode. They told full stories, and this was great.
Yeah. I do wish that Superboy, like back then, I wish they had made every episode like 45 minutes because some episodes
Yeah,
do go by a little bit too quick.
right.
But can you imagine if like something like Road's Not Taken, instead of two 20-minute episodes, imagine if it was like two 40-minute episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of extra stuff, like you could spend way more time in like the Red Sun
Well,
universe, the Sovereign world, and
yeah,
the Dark universe, and
you could go more into character depth, and like we just saw in these two scenes with Bizarro and Lana in the store here. You could
yeah.
draw that out a little bit more. Here's the SWAT team.
I mean, with if they had that extra like 20 minutes with Roads Not Taken, like they could have done a whole nother universe in that show. Like they could have
Right,
done another world on top of the ones we had.
right. I love the music, the Bizarro music, the little Bizarro march that Kevin Kiner did. Just eerie and just so good, and so suited
It's
to the
eerie and
character.
it's childlike as well.
Right, it's so suited to the character. He doesn't get enough
Totally.
credit for what he was a one-man team producing all these themes for the show.
Mm. It was one of his first gigs as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. A lot of people got their start on Superboy. David Nutter, who would go on to direct a ton of stuff for DC, like The Flash, Arrow, got his
I
start
think
on
he's done Supergirl and Smallville as well. I think
Yep, yep. He's like the
some directors did Lois and Clark as well. And
Yeah, he's like the Spielberg of television.
yeah,
If you want to start a series, you get David Nutter to direct. Look at that, the heat vision of Bizarro using his heat vision to blow up the police car. That was great. Like the action on the show was like amazing.
yeah, and plenty of good explosions.
Using his super breath.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean they didn't hold back with the action. They really went all out.
Mm. I do wish that like some of the other shows when they've tried to do Bizarro have just sort of half-assed it. Like Lois and Clark, they didn't even bother giving him makeup. They just made
Yeah.
it's. I don't think they even name him Bizarro in the episode, but it's just basically Dean Cain playing like a 3-year-old.
Right.
Like it's
They did the same thing in Smallville. They had Tom Welling play Bizarro. Just it was
yeah. It only flashes his face to
Yeah.
look like Bizarro like a split second, and that's it.
nice effect.
Supergirl, even half the episode just looks like a perfect clone of Supergirl, but as they fought, she became white faced and cracked.
How many times did Professor Peterson say that line? He's as powerful as you. Like
Just in case the audience hasn't
I know,
like
right?
picked up on that just yet.
He flies, right? Bizarro flies, and we cut to him, taking out this SWAT team. So yeah, we know he's just as powerful. So I think they could have cut that line. But the idea of having a different kryptonite, the Bizarro kryptonite, like that's great. I wish they would have introduced a couple more different like types of kryptonite, because if there's one detracting thing on Superboy is the overusage of kryptonite.
Yeah.
So I think
Talking of different types of kryptonite, though, I can't wait till we eventually get to the commentary for Super Menace.
yes, that's
I wish they'd done that more than once. I wish there was
Yeah.
another Red Kryptonite episode.
again another great character moment between Superboy and Bizarro. Superboy explaining to him that they're brothers. Just a nice moment.
Mm.
We're not enemies, we're brothers.
We're wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, right. And this is where Superboy goes wrong. He tells him, "You're non-living." Just keep appealing to his good side. That's,
Yeah. He's clearly alive.
yeah. What all that mean? And again, the usage of music on this show to like make moments like just carry dramatic weight, like just great. Oh, there goes Superboy right into the windshield of the police car. He's got the girl out. We could see that, Joe. We know he's got the girl. Hold your fire. again, I love the music. Again, we need a score. We need a proper release of all 4 seasons of The Adventures of Superboy score.
Yeah.
Because it was just so good. And it's so 80s. And, I mean, they've released Supergirl the movie's score. They've released all 4 Superman the movie scores. This is the last thing that's out there that needs to be released.
I wouldn't even mind getting the Lois and Clark score, because they did do a soundtrack, but it's only music from the pilot.
Yeah. This scene of them fighting in the sewer was great. Just the visual. Yeah. Again, with the lighting.
I just love that the sewer opens into the mouth of a shark.
It's only about 10 feet, and then they go up into the mini golf thing. Yeah.
I think in the comic, instead of like a mini golf course, I think it was like a full-on theme park or carnival or something.
Yeah.
Whereas this is it's a mini golf course with some jugglers.
Right. This one must be hollow. That's coming up. Hold on. Clowns freak me out. I'm sorry. Clowns freak me out. Even to this day, they freak me out. Them just look like me. Yeah, Bizarro. They're not. I love how Superboy just kind of politely moves Lana to the side and then goes after Bizarro. That was great. Oh, right into the mini house of the golf course. Come on. Bizarro grabs the bat and hits Superboy. That's so funny. This moment was cool. Just look at, like, his movements as Bizarro were so good. They didn't show us the entire fight. We just get this look at at the wall of the funhouse. It's just so funny. I think for a minute there, I think I saw John James Newton's costume as Bizarro was wearing, because they would flip it out. They'd swap out the costume every now and then and have Bizarro wear one of John James Newton's costumes if they didn't want his main costume to get damaged. Okay.
See, I don't know how they didn't expect Bizarro Kryptonite to make him feel better. Everything else has worked the opposite way.
Mm-hmm. It's curing him. But it's funny because in later episodes, like, even using that and treating a Bizarro with Bizarro Kryptonite doesn't always prove to be successful, which we'll see when we get to those episodes. So.
Yeah, like Bride of Bizarro, of course it doesn't work on Bizarro Lana because she's not a copy of a Kryptonian. So why would Kryptonite work on... Yeah.
Oh, Bizarro crying with the tear. Again, another... I love how at the beginning of this two-parter, he's just a thing. And by the end of it, he is somebody and has a... Yeah. The idea of being a Frankenstein monster and having a soul, all these themes are in these 2 episodes. And, you know, if they had an extra 20 minutes to explore a little bit more of the characters, I think it would have just did wonders for the show.
Oh, definitely.
And I mean, we have to mention Mark Jones, who wrote this 2-parter, who was steeped in comic book lore. Carrie Bates, who was a story consultant for the 2nd season. Like, they just did an amazing job.
Totally.
That was a nice touch. Lana giving Bizarro a kiss on the cheek. I kind of wondered where he went. Yeah, he flew, he got off the planet, but, you know, it would have been interesting to see where he he ended up after this two-parter. Did he go
See,
to Did he go to
my
Mars or
headcanon,
something? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
my headcanon is that he went to Bizarro World, the cube-shaped Earth.
Right.
But they don't have the budget to do that in this show.
Yeah. Again, I think we're like, there's a season 5 somewhere, you know?
I mean, that would have been a good story just for the comic, like the tie-in comic book.
That was a great moment. Superboy shaking Bizarro's hand and Bizarro calling him brother.
Which comes back multiple times, which is great.
The little girl with the roses, that was a nice touch. I wonder if that was improvised. We got to ask Barry that when we have him on, that he got the rose and gave it to Lana. That was a nice moment.
Which is funny because it's just a testament to the writing. Like, the episode started with a rose and it ends with a rose.
That's right. That's a good insight. Good catch, Tom. Very good.
I mean, that has to be on purpose.
Well, a dead rose to a live rose, you know?
Yeah.
A carbon copy rose to a real, you know?
Although it's probably an artificial rose.
Yeah, right. I like Bizarro thanking Superboy for giving him life. That was a nice moment. Again, great flying. I mean, they nailed the flying on this show.
Definitely.
And it just got better and better each season with Bob Harmon and his team. Executive producer Elias Olkine. And that's it for the Battle of Bizarro, the 2-part episode from season 2. The first 2 Bizarro episodes.
And a very quick look at Mitchell-Smith.
Yeah. I love how they kept the next week on Superboy. Richard Kiel, who passed away. Volkebach in that episode.
Yeah, rest in peace. He was great in that episode.
Michael
We'll
J.
have to
Pollier.
do that one at some point soon.
Michael J. Pollier, who recently passed away. He was so nice. I met him in person out in Anaheim back in 2010. Great guy.
Awesome.
So much fun.
But there's been some decent Mitchell-Smith on screen. I like Gilbert Gottfried's animated version. And I think last season in Supergirl, they brought Thomas Lennon from Reno 911.
Okay, yeah, he was good too. Yeah, he was really good.
He was really good.
But I still say the most comic book accurate was Michael J. Pollier. Like,
oh, definitely.
His costume, everything was great. So with
that, ripped straight from the pages. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Definitely. So with that, that's our commentary on the 2-part Bizarro: The Thing of Steel and the battle with Bizarro. Tom, thank you for being a part of this commentary.
No problem.
And
thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. So with that, don't forget to subscribe on SoundCloud and YouTube at Superboy Legacy. And for any news and more podcasting episodes, make sure you go to superboythelegacy.com.